Hi everyone. I see some people are joining right now, so let's just give one more minute. Hope everyone is feeling right. It's raining heavily at my area right now. I think half of Singapore is under heavy rain now. Okay, I think we shall begin in about 30 seconds. Okay, I think let's begin right now. So thanks everyone for joining this session in the middle of the day. So welcome to this session. It will be about a project showcase of what we are doing for Project Greenprint. So actually, I hope you saw the news this morning. Okay, first of all, this morning at 8 a.m., MAS Managing Director Ravi Menon was talking about the use of various data platforms to enable better sustainable finance. So he mentioned briefly about Project Greenprint and some of the platforms that are in partnership with the MAS to provide a better technology and data-driven platform for sustainable finance. So one of those, the Greenprint ESG Registry, is actually something that is being built by STACS in partnership with many different other organizations. So of course, the news has really come up this morning. So for example, with the financial institutions like Aviva, Singlife, Citi, OCBC, UOB and UBS. So these are just some of these names that are partnering with us. We are also partnering with sectorial platforms like CDP, Container Printers, Sabana Jurong, SG TradeX. Okay, so I think that what's really great is that we have already managed to put together a relatively vibrant ecosystem, and this is really only just the beginning because today's announcement was only the launch. Okay, in fact, okay, the real work begins now. But of course, even though we will only announce it today, there's actually some work that's really being done in the background. So that's why we are able to even showcase this today. So I see more and more attendees have arrived. I think it's a great time right now to start. Okay, as usual, please feel free to type in your questions in the chat box. I'll be addressing them as I see them. In the meantime, let me share my screen. Okay, we actually have something that we can showcase today, right now. Okay, so I hope you're able to see my screen. In case you are not, please do somehow shout out. Okay, let me just make sure. Yep, okay, I think you can see my screen. Okay, so stacks. Oh, oops, let me remove timings here. All right. So today is an introduction of what we are doing for Project Greenprint, okay, and what we are doing for the world of ESG fintech in general, even beyond Project Greenprint. So of course, Stacks, we are a B2B fintech company. We are providing transformative technology for the financial industry because we are from the financial industry. So many members of the team is actually come from the capital markets. For example, my chairman, Ray Ferguson, he was the ex-CEO of Standard Chartered Bank, okay, throughout his entire career for more than 20 over years. And when he retired as the CEO of Standard Chartered Bank, he retired in Singapore. So he got his hands dirty and actually became an entrepreneur and was one of the founding members of Singlife that acquired Aviva last year that has now become Aviva Singlife. So of course, he's our chairman. Besides being chairman of Aviva Singlife, he's also the chairman of STACS. So we are grateful for him to have, his experience and leadership in our company. Other members of the team, some of you may know well, they are actually from the financial industry too. Okay, more than over 20 years in the capital markets. Myself, I was always in fintech, always a fintech entrepreneur. So we are quite fortunate to also have investors investing in us. For example, deep tech investors like Wavemaker Partners, the blockchain accelerator for the Singapore government Tribe Accelerator, and of course, PwC needs no introduction. Okay, so we have also been fortunate enough to be working with many different financial institutions and have received numerous accolades from our clients. So every one of these logo here is actually a press release that you could look up okay, later online, okay. And besides that, we also won some awards through our work, okay, with the industry. So notably last year, this time, okay, in the MAS 2020 Global Innovation Challenge, that was around sustainability and green finance. We managed to win the award in the Singapore category, and that actually sets us up pretty well for this year, where we gotten closer with the MAS to try to develop something for the ESG industry. We're also fortunate enough to win twice the FSTI grant by the MAS. So FSTI stands for Financial Sector Technology Innovation. So, we were put through a very stringent process, to be able to be awarded the grant, because we had to go through firstly the MAS, secondly an industry panel of judges, of which all five had to approve for us to be able to receive this funding. So we actually got it twice last year, and besides that, we received various awards from different organizations internationally, including Gartner, UBS, and the Asset. So of course, the focus of today is about ESG. Why did we set out to do this? This goes back actually to our history. When we started in 2019, we were trying to solve problems of the financial industry. I mentioned that I was a fintech entrepreneur before, and so, throughout our entire lifetime, we've been trying to solve problems. We've been trying to use technology to overcome some of the legacy issues in the financial sector. And I realized that throughout the last, 10 years, okay, or even 20 years, financial industry or financial technology have only been focused on solving the front end interfaces, but okay, not really solving the underlying structure. Okay, so that's where we are set up to provide our digital infrastructure, okay, for financial institutions to overcome legacy inefficiencies. So extending that to sustainability, we have talked to hundreds of institutions and corporates over the journey over this year, okay, and they have given us, more or less the same problem statements that we could encompass into these four categories. Firstly, from the corporate's perspective, there's always a lack of ESG financing. ESG or sustainability financing is really only limited to large corporates today. There are many green, okay, and sustainable medium or smaller size corporates, but they are not able to get the piece of financing. And in fact, the United Nations estimate that, and this is actually an outdated number, okay, there is a funding gap of 2.5 trillion US dollars every year for the SDGs financing. In fact, okay, this number is probably higher now, because I think there are quotations from 3 to 6 trillion dollars every year, okay, during this 2 week conference at the COP26. Okay, so but the bigger point is, of course, there is this lack of financing. Okay, and then another reason is because many of these corporates find that it is expensive and even exclusive for them to be able to achieve industry certification, because largely because of the manual processes involved in getting an ESG certificate. So there's this staggering number that I was exposed to. In Singapore, there's 28,000 buildings, commercial and industrial buildings, so non-residential buildings. There's 28,000 of them in Singapore, but there's only 22 service providers that are able to provide you this certificate. So in other words, okay, it's going to take a lifetime for all the buildings in Singapore to get certified at the same time. Okay, and if you extend that to other countries like in Southeast Asia, for example, in Thailand, there's 9 million buildings and the equivalent of only 100 service providers. So it's not just about the, because of simply the lack of supply. Okay, so the price of getting certified becomes very high. And even if you've got the money to do so, right now it's very exclusive only to the larger corps. So that's why, okay, we think that technology can help to overcome some of these manual pain points. Of course, as this becomes a negative cycle, financial institutions are worried about greenwashing. When the corporates are unable to reliably and scalably provide such certificates, okay, there is always this fear, when a bank is issuing or helping to arrange a green bond, okay, does it really, okay, is it really as green as it says? Okay, for a ESG fund portfolio that has 50 companies being invested in, and these 50 companies has a value chain of, let's say, 300 other companies. Okay, are they really able to maintain their standards of sustainability? So this leads to another, okay, cycle of hesitancy, okay, and is exacerbated by the lack of real-time and congruent data. Existing data is fragmented in different places. It is siloed. There are many different islands that are storing the information in different places currently. So there is a clear need, for technology that could be able to overcome these pain points to offer a reliable and yet continuous impact reporting to be able to break out of this cycle. So that's what we aim to achieve. The ESG registry that has been announced this morning, we are doing this in partnership with the MAS, whereby we are leveraging on the blockchain technology that we have already deployed, to provide an industry-wide technology and library for ESG certificates and ESG data. This will be able to be supporting the 3 objectives of Project Greenprint: continuous monitoring of commitment, quality impact measurements, and effective mobilization of ESG capital. So this is to solve these problems of fragmented data today. So if we zoom further to the digital ESG registry, so this is the ESG registry blockchain layer that we have already deployed in the pilot phase. So it is an industry-wide digital registry. We want to overcome the problems of fragmentation by being a horizontal cross-cutting layer where we are able to interface with different sectors. Some of the sectors that are already working together with us include the following on the screen. But of course, we are able to work with any other sector that has this interest or this requirement to have a ESG registry. So modules that we have already deployed, for example, module number 1 and number 2, ESG certificate board and ESG data board, where we want to be able to receive sector or industry specific certificates from certificate bodies, digitalize them into our platform. Of course, number 2, we also want to receive ongoing data. This could be your building management systems or your transport logistics platform systems, where there is a variety of IoT, sensors, drones, or satellite data that could be sent to us, and we could digitalize all of them onto our platform. So digitalizing it makes it portable, makes it easy to be aggregated for downstream usage. Of course, that also means that we must have API modules ready. So API modules so that external parties could be able to validate this data. This could be auditors, this could be ratings agencies, and of course, stakeholders can monitor this in real time. If you want to be able to retrieve a monthly report, for example, instead of waiting for an annual certificate, you could actually start monitoring it on an on-demand basis. That will be able to help with downstream portfolio scenario analysis. And of course, everything that we report must be reported in standard protocol, whereby we need to abide by the standards that financial industry needs to have. For example, the ISO 14064 standards, TCFD or GRI standards, and all of these on a single source of truth on the ESG registry. So as mentioned, we already deployed this registry. We already have some of these modules ready for use, and that's why we are able to provide a demo today. But of course, for the sake of a demo, we need to come up with a user story. So this is a story that we created. It's for Megacom. It is a coffee beans producer. It's midday right now. I need a coffee. Maybe you need a coffee too. So this story is about a coffee beans producer. So the next time you have a coffee, I hope you can think of this story and me. So whereby Megacom, they have a coffee plantation in the agricultural sector. And being a large corp, they also own an office building in Singapore in the build and construction sector. And they also hire a logistics fleet, whereby this fleet is actually helping to transport the products from one place to the other. So Megacom, being a large company, being widely exposed, they are also receiving a lot of financial services. There are some banks that are helping them with green and sustainability linked loans and underwriting bonds. There are asset and wealth managers that invested in them and make it part of their portfolio. And of course, there are insurance companies providing them some insurance. So over the course of the demo, there are 5 steps to this demo. We want to show how ESG registry could be able to help both Megacom and also the financial services providers. So I'll jump into the demo right now. So first part of the demo, Megacom has a coffee plantation and therefore they have a fair trade certified certificate. So we talk about using a front-end interface. So we have already the registry that's deployed and also the front-end interface that's been deployed. So this is the front-end interface. It interfaces with the blockchain layer underneath. So of course, we expect that in the real life use case, companies should be using APIs to transfer data securely between one platform and the other. But for the sake of a demo, of course, let's use this demo front end to be able to manually input it. So just now we mentioned it's Megacom, and now we're going to start inputting its sustainability certificate. This is actually the 12th demo that I'm doing over this SFF period. So it's number 12 right now. The sector is agriculture, but just for interest, we have also produced a few templates of other certificates. For example, the BCA Green Mark, SCC Green DNA, for example, the NEA or the Good With label, or even in the finance, ISC. Although recently I read with great interest that last week there's a new sustainability center spot that's just been set up. So we could add more certificates as we grow. For now, let's stick with agriculture and the fair trade certified. And submit this onto the ESG registry. So this is actually akin to creating a certificate on the blockchain. Okay, Megacom test number 12, fair trade certified has been done. If I look at the information here, fair trade certified deployed on the blockchain, there's a transaction ID. Clicking on it brings me to the blockchain browser. Everything is now available on the blockchain transparently, immutably for stakeholders to see. Okay, so that's done. Okay, agricultural certificate has been deployed onto the ESG registry. And next part of the demo, we mentioned that they own an office building. You know, being a green and sustainable company, they have the BCA Green Mark certificate, and they also have a facilities management system with IoT and sensors that can be sending information via API to our registry. So now let's look at the API journey. So we have already deployed the APIs also. Okay, so this is now available. Okay, for example, if you're using the API to create an ESG cert, this is, as we say, building number 12 right now. Okay, demo number 12, building number 12, BCA Green Mark. Let's send this to the ESG registry. Done. Okay, coming back to the ESG registry. Okay, if I just come back to the vault and I refresh, I see a BCA Green Mark on the platform already. So BCA Green Mark just been deployed a few seconds ago, 1517, 317 here locally in Singapore. And if I look at the transaction ID, again, all the details are available on the blockchain for all stakeholders in an immutable fashion. And I mentioned also about the API modules for the sending of IoT or sensor data. Okay, so let's send some information. Okay, from the management system. For example, okay, they have a facilities management system that's tracking their electricity usage and the water consumption for the last 3 months. And last month, okay, let's change this number. 4.9 to let's say a 4.7. They are starting to save some electricity. Okay, sending this to the ESG registry. Okay, done. And if we come back to the platform right now. Okay, we are able to see under data vault. Okay, the platform, the project that we just created. Yes. Okay, number 12, building number 12 is over here. Building number 12. View on it. Okay, just moments ago, again, 317, just moments ago, like we have just uploaded information of, okay, the last 3 months of electricity and water usage, 4.7 kilowatts, the number that I just changed, okay, onto the blockchain. And if I look at the transaction ID, again, every piece of information is immutable, transparent for stakeholders to view. So we completed demo number 2 also, whereby we are using API to send information of the building into the ESG registry. Demo number 3, we mentioned that Megacom, they engage a logistics firm. They engage logistics firms to send the products from one place to the other. And for this demo, we actually have integrated a transport and logistics sectoral platform. So this is CO2. Okay, some of you may have seen the news already because it was launched last month actually. So it was launched last month with 3 local financial institutions, UOB, OCBC, and Aviva Singlife, working in conjunction in partnership with us. Okay, whereby we are able to track corporate fleets, okay, corporate carbon emissions, okay, and directly send them into the ESG registry. Okay, so let's look at the demo. Okay, so this is how it looks like. The CO2 tracking platform, is able to go down to the unit level, in other words, the vehicle level, to track its carbon emissions and able to suggest improvements based on driver behavior. And on a company-wide level, it's able to aggregate this information, okay, into the carbon emissions, okay, that they have already created. And it even takes into account the different types of fuel that they may be using. Even if it's an electric car, they're still consuming or creating carbon emissions because the electricity in Singapore is still largely traditional power grid. Okay, so on this example, okay, the baseline emission of this fleet is 168 tons. Okay, last month they managed to reduce it, okay, by 25.8 tons. So okay, this is already integrated to the platform, so there's nothing for me to do. It will show up in our platform immediately and automatically, which brings us to the next demo, which is all this information could be fully visible on our front-end interface. Okay, so Megacom right now, it has exposure in agriculture, in building and construction, and even its logistics fleet, right? All this information can now be aggregated and compiled on the front-end interface. So if I come back here, okay, so I want to be able to search for, the details of Megacom. Okay, yep, here it is. So Megacom test drive, just look at the first two. The BCA Green Mark and Fair Trade Certified is available. Their data, okay, the building that we just saw, and also not just that, the CO2X platform for Megacom. Okay, we mentioned about, okay, its performance, right? 168 baseline, okay, reduction in the last month, 25.8. Everything is available on the platform. Okay, so that is transparent for the holistic reporting of Megacom. So that means that their financial institutions will also be able to retrieve this information for their benefits. As we talk about just now, banks, they want to provide a sustainability linked loan, they want to provide a sustainability linked bond, or asset manager, they really invested into it as part of an ESG portfolio, and insurance companies, they want to be underwriting some parts of the value chain under in green insurance. So institutions will be able to retrieve this information from one single platform via API. Okay, whether the institutions are working or connected to us directly, or maybe they could be connected to a data service provider that is connected to us. Okay, irregardless, these APIs are already ready for them to retrieve the info. Let's look at it. Okay, coming back to the API module, let's retrieve this information in real time. Okay, retrieving it, yep, we see Megacom, BCA Green Mark, and if we scroll down, yep, they are fair trade certified. Okay, and if you want to retrieve um, their information that we just uploaded just now about their building, right? Electricity usage 4.7 last month, okay, September, etc. Everything is available online or through API. So that brings us to the end of the demo for the ESG registry, but that's not the end. So we have already deployed the ESG registry. We already talked about how the ESG registry can therefore, support various downstream financial sector activities. So what could these financial sector activities be? As a blockchain-based company, we also want to continue to innovate in the downstream applications. For example, we talk about bonds, and I'm quite happy that the MD of MAS, Ravi Menon, this morning talked a lot about digital bonds, talk about the use of smart contracts, talk about automation of these various liabilities and activities of a bond throughout its entire life cycle, and we totally resonate with them. Because we think that the smart contracts could be used to take in data from the ESG registry, interact with the use of proceeds, and activate the financial incentives. In other words, ESG standards like your ICMA green bond principles, sustainability linked bonds principles could be programmed to enforce the use of proceeds. Okay, these same smart contracts can also enforce the financial incentives or penalties, of such bonds. Okay, and this is actually a demo that we did since last year already in the same showcase that we had. Okay, so this is definitely something that we are looking forward to support the use of technology to be able to enforce the life cycle of such financial products. In terms of ESG funds, as we mentioned, a typical fund has, let's say, 30 to 50 portfolio companies or even more. Okay, now we are able to help with the aggregation and the scenario analysis of such portfolios. We are hoping to be able to help them with their decision making, with transparent reporting and greater transparency with aggregated view. And of course, carbon credits, something that makes me really excited, because here we are able to really see on first hand how the blockchain technology could be used to support, carbon credits for provenance, where every single carbon credit that we create needs to be able to track back, to this provenance of the carbon offset project, with the use of the blockchain and with the use of smart contracts. Also, the use of digital blockchain technology could also be used to enforce that these credits, they are not fungible with another project, because a forestry project shouldn't be fungible with a building cap and trade project elsewhere. Okay, so, and because they are in a different standard, although they are all calculated in metric tons, they are in much different standards. Also, with the use of smart contracts, we want to be able to retire these credits upon you use them, upon utilization, because we cannot allow these to be double spent. And by the fact that it is digitally and API enabled, we hope to be able to be interoperable with carbon exchanges or financial services providers to be able to facilitate such trading of carbon credits. So with that, let me jump to a demo of carbon credits right now. Yep. So this is the carbon credit demo that I want to get into. So again, this is another front-end interface that we deployed. It's basically the same interface, just that we highlighted or segregated some of these modules. So this is the carbon module that we have already created. Okay, so you could see a few different carbon offsets projects that we created as a demo. Let's create one right now. Okay, create one right now. Okay, and the assigned company ID, this is actually a digital ID on the blockchain. Let's copy one. Let's just use wallet number 5. Okay, coming back here and give it a name. Okay, so today is the 9th of November. So it's the test demo for 09/11/2021. Okay, in the sector of, you mentioned agriculture nature base. I already have a script here. Let's copy this. All right, so this is a reforestation project in Aceh, for example. It's totally a made-up story right now. Okay, monthly estimated CO2 emissions reduction 1,000 tons, certified gold standard. Submit this. So what I've done is that I've created a smart contract. Okay, that will be tracking such a project. Okay, now from now onwards. Okay, so it's created. It's on the blockchain. Okay, it is actually done. I'm just need to refresh this browser. Okay, it is on the smart contract already. So if I view it, okay, something that I just created is a reforestation program. Okay, all this is already on the blockchain. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do, okay, imagine that 1 month has passed, right? And it's really confirmed that I have created 1,000 tons worth of carbon emissions reductions, carbon sequestration, right? So now I want to be able to, okay, create these 1,000 tokens. Of course, it's not just me doing it. It's actually going to be a certifier doing this. All right, so this is the first batch. Let's give it a A. Okay, A for the batch code. Okay, and then the further on will be B, C, and D. Right, batch quantity. Let's say it really creates 1,000. Okay, tons. In other words, 1,000 carbon credits. Okay, and we want to allocate. The submitter wants to allocate this to the company. The company is of course the project owner. So the project owner now earns 1,000 carbon credits, and let's review and submit this into the blockchain layer. So this is done. 1,000 carbon credits have been created. Okay, it's now on the blockchain. Let's look at it, viewing it. Okay, and look at the TXID. So this has been deployed on the blockchain, right? You have 1,000 tokens created on the blockchain, okay, whereby it represents this carbon offset project. Okay, and if I go to reporting module, I'm able to see that the latest project has this ID here and this view. Okay, where on the registry, okay, in the blockchain, there's only one address holding 1,000 tokens of it. Okay, and there's no transaction yet. All right, this is literally virgin forest carbon credits right now. Okay, so let's try to do some simulations of trades. Okay, so this address has 1,000 tokens. Let's look at the account center and the account list. Okay, the first address, it has 1,000 of these tokens, right? Okay, so all right, let's look at the test. Yeah, this one. Okay, 09, this one. Okay, the last one, because now it's the 09, okay, which is the 9th of November. This is the batch that I just created. Okay, let's just imagine that, okay, the project owner has managed to sell some of these carbon credits in the exchange. Okay, and they want to therefore settle this trade. So the transaction has been done, price discovery has been done elsewhere in the marketplace. All right, and now they are just using the API that's already integrated with us to settle this transaction. Okay, so we need to find a buyer. Okay, let's use the another wallet number 4 to be the buyer here. Okay, and a purchase of 200 units. Okay, so I have 1,000. I'm selling 200 to this person or this institution, transferring to them because they already paid me and everything is done integrated basis. Okay, transfer has been made. Okay, so if I look at my balance right now on wallet number 5, okay, you'll see that, okay, there's a 200 that has been withdrawn from the 9th of November. Okay, which is literally just moments ago. I've just done it just moments ago. Okay, and therefore the balance is now only 800. And if I change the view of this address to wallet address number 4, which was the one that bought it, okay, you'll notice that although I've bought these carbon credits, okay, moments ago, and I bought 200 of it, but my usable balance is 0. In other words, I've utilized 200 carbon credits of this project. All right, I'll just repeat that again. So as an entity, I have utilized, I bought 200 carbon credits from this project from Aceh. Okay, and because I bought them, means that I'm utilizing it to offset against my own emissions. So therefore, it's been utilized. I shouldn't be allowed to use it again. Let me try to sell it to someone else. I'm not allowed to do that. Okay, because my balance is 0. Okay, in other words, our smart contracts have managed to retire these credits. And if I come back to the reporting module, which is the where we have all these records, and look at this project again, looking at the balances here. Okay, now on the blockchain, I have 2 fingerprints now. Okay, so I used to have only 1 fingerprint. Okay, this address that has 1,000 units, now it only has 800. Okay, and I have a second address that has a fingerprint too. because he bought the tokens. However, its balance is zero. And if I go to the transaction logs, I'm able to see that 200 has been transferred from the buyer to the seller. Sorry, from the seller to the buyer. Okay, it's been completed, but yet only 800 can be used today. So this also allows us to enforce that every single unit, besides being provenant, is also being retired, so that there's no double spending at all. Okay, so this is what we want to be able to achieve high quality digital carbon credits, which we see as a very sorely lacking space right now in the carbon markets. Okay, so essentially to summarize, okay, we hope to be able to bring essential value. This is really essential, right, to financial institutions and corporates. Firstly, for financial institutions to achieve continuous transparency and traceability, okay, on the greenness of ESG projects, okay, such that institutions can engage in well-informed, inclusive financing and investment decisions, and of course, potentially even create new green finance products. Okay, for corporates, okay, corporates of any size, because I mentioned that large corps, they basically can access any sustainable financial services that they want today. But for the medium size or the smaller companies, okay, they find it very difficult to get any service at all. Okay, so hopefully through the use of technology with an integrated platform, we are able to bring them to more financial services, okay, and also allow them to therefore build a competitive edge. Ultimately, we see this as a positive cycle whereby you increase the deployment of green capital, which will lead to greater sustainability for enhanced financing and of course carbon credits. Last slide of the day, we can't do this alone. Okay, while we are a DLT firm, okay, we mentioned just now that sectoral platforms like IoT, sensors, satellites, drones, they have to be sending us some information, and they need to be somebody we can recognize. We can't just be the project owner itself. So quite fortunate that in the initial outreach, Project Greenprint data platform was only announced this morning, but of course in the last few weeks we have really started talking to certain sectoral platforms. So some of them are named today, SG TradeX, Sabana Jurong, okay, CO2X, container printers, etc. So these are representatives of each sector where they are able to provide, okay, well-established and credible industry-specific data. Okay, so of course we want more. We want to be able to integrate with more, okay, so that we can build the greater ecosystem. Data service providers, okay, we want to be able to partner with more data service providers, okay, this data disclosure partners, data platforms, etc. Okay, so this could be upstream or downstream. Data acquisition and processing partners. Again, this could be upstream or downstream. Upstream in the sense that, okay, these are the companies that collect data from the ESG projects. Downstream in the sense that they could be data aggregators. They could be your, S&P, Moody's, and Fitch, and this could be your, okay, Morningstar and Bloomberg and Refinitiv. Okay, so hopefully we are able to provide them a trustable, okay, and trustworthy platform that would be, okay, helpful for value adding their services. Of course, we want to also cater to business needs. Okay, so corporates on the upstream, financial institutions and carbon exchanges on the downstream, and of course, ultimately, all these need to be validated. So firstly, we also want to be integrating with certification bodies. We want to ingest certificates from the industry right away, and of course, ESG ratings agencies to be able to validate the data, okay, on our platform. Only in this case, we see that we can create a very positive and vibrant ecosystem and scale up globally. So that's it for my presentation. Thank you very much. We have the rest of the time for a Q&A. Okay. Okay. I see. Oh, the audience has suddenly blown up. So, yep, we'll be happy to take any questions right now. You can type it into the chat box under Q&A or chats. And if needed, I will share screen again and go through any part in case that was too fast. Questions from anyone? You're too kind to me. No questions at all. Oh, okay. Karishma. Yep, sure. Okay, I will show the, hang on, I'll just show the last slide. The problem about me sharing screen is that I won't be able to see you. So I'll just share screen quick for 30 seconds. I will come back here. All right. So yeah, this is the last slide. Of course, nothing is really set in stone, right? Okay, whereby of course we want to be able to integrate with more partners, but we are not exclusive. Ultimately, forming the DLT registry and forming a reliable platform requires us to work with as many people as possible. Okay, so disclosure platforms too, definitely. So we want to be able to have just simply more people filling up this registry. So great thing is that working with the MAS, okay, because we are not doing this alone. If we're doing this alone, I'll be highly skeptical of our ability, okay, to do this alone. Okay, but working with the MAS, it has allowed us to be able to reach out to more potential partners in a shorter period of time. So I think this is going to be a positive cycle, okay, that can grow this exponentially. Thanks, Karishma. Also, in case you want a full demo again, actually there will be a session on Thursday. Yep, Thursday. Okay, at 9 a.m. Singapore time. So 9 a.m. Singapore time, there's actually a MAS Greenprint Roundtable. That's part of the Singapore FinTech Festival agenda. So if you look at the Singapore FinTech Fest on day 4, Thursday, okay, there is actually this session 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. It's called a Greenprint Project Greenprint Roundtable. So I'm one of the speakers there. Okay, there are actually 4 of us. Okay, plus the MES, so there's actually 5 of us. Okay, so my part will be about the ESG registry, where I'll be going going through this over again. But of course, I only have 10 minutes for Thursday. Okay, so whereas I have an hour here, so I could spend more time today. Whereas for Thursday, it will be a condensed version of it. Yeah, but of course, you'll still be good if you could join on Thursday so that you can also see the other parts of the platform. As I mentioned, there's actually 3 other partners besides myself who will also be presenting on Thursday. So I think it's good that we could also see how the other platforms are being are helpful and also plugging in data into the registry. Yeah, I think that would be quite useful. Okay, for anyone. In fact, let me put in the information shortly. Is there any fee to join the platform? Okay, there's a question here. Is there any fee to join the platform? So currently we are in the beta phase. There isn't any fee to join the platform today. Okay, but in the long run, there needs to be a commercial model. And the long run commercial model, it does make sense to be like a data service model. When there are a few different components here. So firstly, okay, there are some reporting corporates, okay, or reporting platforms. So these platforms will be envisioning, okay, sorry, let me just rewind this for a moment. Okay, so users could be direct users or could be users through a channel partner. A channel partner is in another platform. Okay, so if this is another platform partnership working together with us. Okay, so there's a platform that is, let's just say, a platform that is integrated with us. Okay, and this platform is a data service provider. Okay, so maybe we will be able to charge this platform because it is charging their users downstream. And if it's direct user could be financial institutions or the corporates. Okay, we also be charging them a data service fee. So this would be more of a pay-as-you-go fee. Okay, for every time you report, for example, or every time that you are submitting this data, for example, or the vice versa. Okay, every time you are retrieving this data as a user, okay, in the financial institution. So that's something that we see as the long run business plan. Although right now, to be clear, because we are actually in the beta phase, we're trying to invite more partners for free so that we can grow this in a faster period of time. Can you share? Okay, so there's a question here. Hi, David. Share some target timeline for Project Greenprint in general. So MES will have a bigger picture of this. Okay, for my role in the Project Greenprint, we want to be able to have more use cases. Okay, by next year. Okay, use cases in the sense that, okay, if you read the news release this morning by MES, they are already starting with 2 actual confirmed use cases. Okay, in palm oil and infrastructure development. Okay, so I think there's actually way more than that. For example, we already integrated with the transport sector. We already are now working with the build sector, okay, and of course with the manufacturing sector and more, okay, trade finance, etc. So I think that next year, Okay, we want to be able to see live use cases. Personally, I'm targeting 8 live use cases. Okay, each use case being a subject matter, okay, of different types of corporates, financing institutions, and of course the investment agencies involved in each use case. Okay, so I think that will be able to give more than enough information or traction, okay, to bring about more positive cycle of adoption. Okay, as you saw in the platform demo just now, okay, technologically speaking, okay, we have the skeleton already. We have the skeleton and even more actually, I would say. Okay, it's just really getting to know, each sectorial platform better to start integrating the bits and pieces together. Okay, so I hope I answered the question. Welcome. Any more questions? So just now I also mentioned about tokenized bonds, tokenized funds besides carbon credit. So I didn't do a demo because there's actually more demos tomorrow. So tomorrow is day 3 of our showcase, right? So actually there's going to be a demo for tokenized funds tomorrow. It's in the afternoon, same time right now. Okay, but tomorrow. Okay, so the 2 demos actually tomorrow. So one demo is about post-trade matching, post-trade processes using our DLT platform for asset managers, brokers, custodians, middle office, etc. A common platform for all of them to be able to share the information in real time and settle or clear these trades information. The second demo in the afternoon will be actually tokenizing the fund. Okay, so the fund structure, the fund unit can be tokenized so that they can be able to bring about these digital benefits that we just mentioned, automation, smart contracts, etc. So these are the various pieces of the demo that will be quite happy for you to witness tomorrow in the afternoon. Okay, last call for questions. Okay, if there's no question, just remember that I am also on this platform. You will be able to find me in the platform. Okay, my LinkedIn details, my email, I think everything is readily available inside the platform under people. Okay, just look out for me. I have my picture over there. It's hard to miss. Okay, so basically you could just send me a message. Okay, inside this platform itself. Okay, we also have more information about our company and products inside the lounge area and also inside the booth area. Okay, so if you just click around this website, right? Just click around this website, you'll be able to see that besides this conference, we also have a booth area and also a lounge area. Okay, I'll be hanging out there, in case you want to have a one-to-one conversation, or we could exchange contact information. Okay, if you want to have a further conversation later on. Otherwise, if there's no other question, I'd like to thank everybody for your time again. Okay, so hope to see you again soon. Thanks. Stay safe. Goodbye.